Okay, so we've had lots of discussions about Moe's lower body positioning, and I've discussed this quite a bit in a lot of my programs. Because without lower body stability and without the proper positions of the lower body moving into impact and throughout the swing motion, we can't really utilize the power and the speed of the upper body.
My big toe never moves on my left foot.
What do you mean by that? Oh, outside of the left foot.
Never moves. The toe never
How do you
moves.
keep your? How do you keep? In other words, you don't slide on it. You're saying no slide.
Nope.
Just turn.
Yep.
So you never let your hips get in front of your knees, or what you're saying. You never let this happen. Yeah.
Whoa.
That's interesting. Yeah. A lot of those guys slide out there.
Oh, don't they? Watch this.
Yeah, that is pure. Very pure.
Everything is so connected.
Mm-hmm.
Every muscle is so what? Everything's so connected. Look. It's perfect. Look. So simple.
Mm-hmm.
Never take a divot. Watch.
Why do you start the club back so far from the ball?
Eliminate so many things. Everybody should do that. They hit the ball better.
Really?
You can't pick the club up. You can't take it outside. You're eliminating a foot in your swing that you don't have to put into your game.
Mm-hmm.
And my right shoulder already is in my turn.
I see. Yeah, that's right.
See? 4 things I eliminate.
Mm-hmm.
See? Look at my right shoulder.
Hey, it's already back. Yeah, it's already turned.
Outside
Unless you sway.
Oh, heck. Look, watch.
Hey, if you're loving the single plane swing and you want to finally convert your complicated conventional swing to a simple single plane swing, I have something for you. I created a single plane conversion guide. You need to go to gravesgolf.com/convert and download your free guide. There's some videos in there too, and I'm going to help you finally have a great single plane experience.
What's the wide stance do for you?
Better balance.
Really? I noticed that your stance is a lot wider than anybody I've ever seen.
That's right. Balance, look.
So in other words, you want to keep your feet on the ground. You don't want to push.
Stay planted.
Even at impact.
Oh, I should say so.
That's pure there. Why do you want the right foot on the ground at impact?
Can't get over.
Can't get over the top?
No, how can you?
Yeah.
Impossible.
Uh-huh.
My legs get wider at impact.
Yeah. Can't get over it. That's amazing. I never thought of that.
Can't get over.
Uh-huh.
Put the club way back in wide stance. I can't get over.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I want to watch.
That's amazing. You believe playing out of an open stance?
No.
Just
hell no.
Just square, right?
You walk like that?
No.
The way you walk?
Straight.
Why sit it to me? Let your arms hang. You don't hang them like that.
Yeah.
What? Okay, now I see that. Now
everybody on the tour is open.
What?
Everybody on the tour is open.
They're so wrong.
Hogan was closed, I noticed.
Sure he was.
And he had his hands high like you.
Sure.
Now why do both of you guys?
Yeah,
why are both of you are like this?
The 2 best strikers that's ever lived.
Is that
less moving parts?
Is that flat? Give you a flatter plane when you?
Sure, and club can't get offline if it wants to.
Right. So your hands are up and your stances are wide and square to closed. That's the only 2 people I've ever seen that. Of course, I think Knutson was closed also, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Knutson, and so wasn't Sam Snead.
You heard Moe talk about it, how he has the foot position matters, right? Your foot position matters. But what's happening with your lower body is controlling the lower spine, the lower back. So I want to talk really quickly about how we utilize the feet up to the knees, up to the pelvis, and how that we can utilize the legs and control the spine with the control of the lower body and the legs. As you know, I speak in terms of the positions of the body, in terms of how we biophysically use the body. I believe that this is a machine, and we're using this machine effectively to propel this golf club with speed and acceleration. If you're having trouble producing speed, you're losing something in the kinetic chain. The kinetic chain is starting with the lower body, because the most stable part of the body here is whatever attaches to the ground, my feet. you heard Moe say in that video that he's not moving his lead foot. Even if you lift it slightly, you're not moving its position, you're leaving it where it's at, so you can then utilize that position of the foot to stabilize against it. So let's just discuss the foot position up to the leg position, all the way up through how the body works, utilizing the lower body. Now, one of my recommendations obviously is that you have the lead foot slightly rotated. And the trail foot, like as you walk, but I like to see it in a stable position because you're working against this. You want to have something you're rotating against. This is what's controlling the pelvis rotation. So what I see a lot of people do, and the mistakes a lot of people make, is they have their foot too turned in, both feet too turned in a lot of times, but this really inhibits rotation. When you inhibit rotation, it produces lateral motion in the body. If I allow my foot to have a little bit of rotation to it, it promotes rotation, which then allows the pelvis to move. You see me talk a lot about the sacrum. This is the lower part of the spine right here. This belt loop right here kind of indicates where my sacrum is. You want to see the sacrum actually make a slight movement forward when I rotate. See how my leg is braced? That allows me to be able to get into that lower body and transition the pelvis forward. So you're going to notice that as you notice when you work on lower body movement and as you position the body correctly, it's allowing you to make that transitional move. How many of you have trouble moving the lower body sequentially first? That's what transition is. So, when I set up and I'm here at address and I stabilize against that leg, it's positioning the pelvis back and against this inside of this leg, kind of into the groin, into the heel, into that foot. So I can then push, and I can push inside my pelvis. I can push to move this forward. And you can see that very deep push in good golfers. You see it in Moe Norman, obviously, and how they're making that lateral motion. This is where a lot of people have trouble, because if your foot position, even your foot position is pretty good, and you laterally shift, see how I moved on the outside of that leg. Now I'm not deep enough into this my groin area. I don't have enough pressure in there to push. It's like if I was going to step into my shoe. Well, if I'm on the outside of the foot, it's hard to propel my body forward. If I'm in the inside of that foot, I can propel myself forward. So the backswing position of the pelvis, as I move into the backswing, it's got to move into this leg deeply so that I can propel it and push it forward like that. So again, inside the groin, inside the heel, keeping the sacrum. When I do this, I want the sacrum to stay back. See how it's staying back? I don't want this. I don't want you straightening the leg, because that pushes the weight to the outside of the leg, outside of the foot. We want to keep on the inside and rotate until we're working deeply. That's why a lot of good players feel it right here into their glute, into their hamstring a little bit right here, because you're feeling it. This is a stabilizer. It's stabilizing the body. The deaccelerators of the body, the things that hold it still and position you. So a strong, right here in your butt, feeling that deepness. That's why this foot position, keeping it in the right position, allows you to really get where you want to in that leg. If you have the foot in, you can't get there. Too far out, obviously you can't get there because the knee moves. So now you're kind of seeing where you feel it in the feet and that trail leg, how important that trail leg is to creating that brace. I talk about the braking system. In my class, Single Point 30, I'm wearing my shirt today because I promote this, and let me back up a step. I teach from a causal perspective. What I mean by that is I teach from what causes the movement, what's causing things. A lot of people try to learn from a result-oriented perspective. For example, they hit a ball or they get a result and they want to learn from that result. I don't work that way. I take about what's causing you to move correctly, and I always work in a positive direction of what you need to be doing to get it right. We can sit there and quick fix it all day long. We can chase our tail and we can run out there and look at our results and think, oh my God, I'm getting these results. There must be a problem. We try to fix it. I'm not a fixer. I'm a producer from a causal standpoint. In other words, what would cause great movement? Let's work on that. Which leads me to the modeling. We model things here. So I model here at Graves Golf. We're modeling perfect movement and how we get the right movement, which then produces the result from a causal perspective. So again, let's look at how the legs work again. So again, we got the backswing, working deep into this leg, into the heel, into the inside of the foot, because the position of the foot against that leg. It produces the ability to then move my pelvis forward. The butt is staying back. So notice it's both back and the ability to move it into that leg. So it feels deep, and you see Moe's head drop slightly in the downswing. you'll see him drop, but his spine drops in the plane of the head drops in the plane of his spine. It doesn't go towards the ball. You never want to see this. You never want to see that, right? That would be actually a reversing of the spine and then the head going down. That would be almost like coming over the top that way. What you want is you want to see this where the spine is moving this way, and that's just the pelvis dropping down. So the spine angle is not changing. Important, right? Okay. Let's go into the lead leg now. So now we've transitioned. Right? We've gone into that lead leg. And what happens is now Moe liked his foot turned out slightly. And what you get is if you're basically bracing into this leg, so you have this bracing in the backswing, and now you got this movement of the pelvis and bracing into this leg. Again, it creates this stability in the lower body. We want the stabilization of this leg. It's really important because it's stabilizing the lead side of the body as I'm side bent. And so what happens is if I'm stable here, I can rotate pretty, as much as I really can. There's a limit. We're going to talk about that. And that allows me to come now down into impact and square the club face. But it's because I'm bracing against this leg. It starts with the foot. The foot has a rotation. The knee is stable. And then it allows me to really brace against that inside of that hip. That rotation against the hip, again, I feel it inside the leg here, inside the groin. I'm feeling that. But again, it's a push back because I feel like working against as my butt stays back. See, it's pushing back. Now, here's where the limiters happen. And this is what Moe was talking about. And I think this is the beautiful part of good mechanics. The control of this. Because if I control this, it controls what happens up here. So if I'm controlling the sacrum and I move down, okay, so I feel like this downward movement into this leg as my butt stays back, and I'm turning. You see how this is an internally rotated position, all right? So watch it from that angle there. It's an internal rotated position, just like that. See that? Now, if this moved out, that would be external rotation. See how it moved my sacrum? Watch my sacrum stay pretty still as I move internally. See that? See how that stays back? So you want to see the rotation, but you want to see it internal this way. I feel this moving down because it's internal. Never up. Never lift the foot. Never lean it forward. I never want to see this. Now, you'll see some guys get away with this. They'll turn internally and lift the foot. It's hard, but if they're going up, they can do that. See, if they can make an upward motion, we can do that. A lot of guys who are standing pretty tall will come into an upward motion. I don't recommend that. It's hard because you're going up and going down internally at the same time. So what I want to see is this. All right, so I'm bracing. I'm into this leg, 75, 80% of the weight. I'm into that leg. I'm turning internally, and that's going down and internal. See that? See how the foot stays down and rolls. And now watch this. It stays back. See, it stays back. I want that motion there. I never want to see the knee kick out. I want that. And so now what happens when I'm coming down, when I get that motion staying back, that's what you get is it's easy to stay side bent, and get the club coming from the inside. See that? Side bent, coming from the inside. Side bent, coming from the inside. And watch this leg. It's stable all the way to extension. We call this position 5. Very internal. I feel inside here. Roll the foot. Foot stays down. Great position through there, right? So that's how Moe was able to keep the club down the line so easily. He wasn't letting this go up. He wasn't letting this get off the foot. He wasn't lifting externally. He was internal bracing. And here's where it comes. Here's where I believe that the stuff that should be taught in the golf swing that isn't taught enough is how this creates a limiting factor, because what you have is foot staying in position, maximizing your limit, rotational limit. That's as far as I can go. Internally, down, foot. I can't go any further. Well, that's a great thing because it makes me hit the same exact spot every single time. See that? Every single time I'll hit the same spot. So now when I'm striking a golf ball, I'll hit the same spot every single time. If I didn't have these limits of the foot lifted, if I even rolled this foot, if I straighten the leg, if I don't hold these limits, then I'm not going to be consistently getting to the most important moment, the strike consistently, and my upper body has no idea what to do. Because if this is changing and you're not working within limits of lower body, upper body's not working within limits either, and that's what's controlling the club and accelerating to produce speed. A lot to unpack in that. We'll talk a lot about this. Again, I like to talk in terms of biophysics. If you're interested in all the stuff that I teach, if you want to download my plane guide, it is a free guide, and it basically walks you through 6 videos. It's a guide that has a PDF format, but then it has 6 videos that you can download and watch how I get you to move this way and get the club onto plane, because the goal is to get the club to impact on plane. I call it my plane guide. I will put a QR code on the screen here. You're more than welcome to grab your phone, download that plane guide, and give me your email address, and I'll send it right to you with the 6 videos throughout the next week or so. There'll also be a link in the description below. If you want to go ahead and click that link below, you can also download the plane guide. And you can always contact us at Graves Golf, and I'll be happy to help you. My email address, I'll just give it to you. It's toddg@gravesgolf.com. Feel free to email me anytime, and I'll be answering any questions you have about the single plane swing. Hope that helped, and we'll talk more about the motion of the body and how these limiting factors and braking system will help you hit the ball better and more consistently. I'll see you in the next video.